afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lifestyle with Dr. Mobi. I'm Dr. Mobi, and we are fortunate to have a great Rocky Kramer on our show. We welcome Rocky. How are you doing, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So tell us about yourself to our audience.
Sure. Well, I'm from Norway. Grew up in Norway, and I moved here when I was 21. So I've been in LA since then. I come from a musical family, so music is my life. I am currently a recording artist with Allied Artists Music Group, and I have an album out called Firestorm, which came out in August of last year, and just been a musician all my life, really. So that's the short version.
That's the short version. Oh, that's a nice short version. Okay, so tell me also about what got you into music.
Well, like I said, my family is very musical. My father was the first violinist in the Trondheim Symphony Orchestra for over 40 years. So I grew up with classical music. I grew up going to concerts and seeing symphonies and operas and ballets and any type of classical music. I've heard it all probably over the years. Any composer. I'm not good with composers. My dad is much better with the names and the titles of everything, but I've heard a lot of it. My mom, who unfortunately passed away when I was 5, she of breast cancer. She was a piano teacher, and she sang in a choir, which is how she met my father. And after she passed away, I was watching my brother as my dad was teaching him how to play the violin. And this is how I got started, because I was watching my brother try to play, and I was looking at it and I was thinking, I think I can do that too. I want to do it. So my brother was trying to play like an ambulance sound, like a and he was having a little bit of trouble with it. So I was looking at it, just kind of playing it just with my hands and just wondering if I could do it myself. And I asked if I could try, and I did. And I did it right away. So my dad realized that maybe I should be the one that plays violin, and my brother ended up taking piano lessons. So we're both playing our parents' instruments in that regard.
Oh, okay. So your journey started, and you still play violin, or did you move to other instrument?
So I moved on to the guitar when I was about 11. Even though I was kind of messing around with other instruments, we had 2 pianos in the house. I wanted to play drums. I was into rock and roll. I wanted to be a drummer, but I've then realized that it was the guitar that I wanted to play. So since I was 11, I've been primarily a guitar player. I started on the acoustic, and then I moved on to electric when I was about 12, 13, which is what I've been doing since.
Okay, great. So tell me, so right now you are guitarist and you play other instruments or on your band or the musical band?
Yes. So my band is we're basically a 4-piece. I do the guitar playing and I sing, and then I have a keyboard player, a bass player, and a drummer, and they all do backups. But where a lot of the music is instrumental, like we're playing progressive rock, progressive metal, so it's kind of like I'm wearing a Pink Floyd shirt. It's just it's in the vein of Pink Floyd, but with maybe with an influence of other bands, like a little heavier, a little more like Led Zeppelin, or like a lot of the music that was done in the 70s and 80s. I was born in the 90s, but I love the 80s. I love the 70s. I'm like an 80s rocker born in the 90s, so I'm just I'm more of a fan of the music before my time, and was never that influenced by current music. And I'm still not as much, but when I'm writing music, like I play other instruments as well. So, and I'm writing the music, I can technically play the drums, I can play bass and keyboards. So when I make demos, I kind of do everything myself, and then introduce it to the band, and then they play it, and then they make it their own. So it's kind of it's a fun process.
Okay, great. So, I think you pointed out to interesting fact. I also actually loved 80s and 90s music and maybe early 2000. But after that, I don't see there is a lot of creativity. I mean, there is, but it is not the same. I think those music in 80s, 90s you can hear again and again. Pink Floyd you can play anytime, right? And
Yeah.
those Metallica, those great Scorpions, Van Halen, you just name Eagles, you can play any of them, right?
Yeah.
And they had, and I think there was somebody on my show and was saying that they work with a lot of great artists, and was saying that they would record the whole thing, in one setting, and they would keep playing. Nowadays, the artists would do one 30-second, 1 minute, and then do next, and then editing, and all that gets look really great, but they never actually played 1 hour or 30 minutes, right? So,
Right.
so those things have probably changed. I mean, there's definitely technology, and but I think I'm still a big fan of Pink Floyd and other bands. So I'm sure you are too, right? You're great influence from Pink Floyd, right?
Absolutely, very much so.
Which song or which album was your favorite?
I happen to be wearing it. If I stand up a little bit, it's "Wish You Were Here."
Oh, Wish You Were Here. Yeah.
"Wish You Were Here" to me is a great, and I mean the album. The whole album is incredible experience with "Shine on You, Crazy Diamond." It's probably my favorite song, and it's just "Welcome to the Machine," and it's just it's welcome. It's just a great album from start to finish. And I mean, I love probably every Pink Floyd album. Every album has something about it that is special, but there was something probably like from like that whole the albums around that, like Dark Side of the Moon, The Wall. It was just they were just so they really knew what they were doing at that time. It was just perfect. It was a very great balance between doing something that was progressive, but also doing something that had a very commercial appeal that a lot of people can get into. The early stuff was more, psychedelic, and it was very appropriate at the time. People were experimenting with a lot of different things, and I'm sure they were having fun with that. But it might feel a little bit distant compared to some of the other stuff that they're doing after that. It was just maybe it's just more of a mainstream appeal. Not that it has to be mainstream for me to like it, but I'm just glad that it helped people discover Pink Floyd, because otherwise they may have just been, a smaller band, which would have been a shame.
So with your guitar, tell me who is your favorite guitarist?
Well, I have several. I would say that when I first started out, I was a big Kiss fan, so Ace Frehley was a big hero of mine. His technique is more simple, but it's very melodic, and I like the fact that it's melodic. I have to, of course, mention David Gilmour from Pink Floyd, because he's not just he has a great feel when he plays, and when he plays the solo, you really feel his emotion. He also has a great ear for what a guitar should sound like. So it has the potential of being very cinematic, and I like that. I think that's a very cool thing when you're listening to a Pink Floyd album. It's just like the guitars are very dreamy at times, and it kind of it triggers your imagination, and I like that. I'm a big Yngwie Malmsteen fan, who is from Sweden. So I'm from Norway, he's from Sweden, so there's a little bit of a connection there. I can relate to his story and what he was doing, because he was combining classical music with rock and with metal. So it was just mixing the two things that I like mixing, which I think is great. And he basically created his own genre called neoclassical metal, and I think that's really cool. people before that who were kind of doing similar things were like Randy Rhoads, who I think is great. He was a big influence early on. Brian May from Queen, definitely. Loved Brian May. I can't leave Jimi Hendrix out, because obviously Hendrix is the he's the number one man on the guitar. He's I actually discovered Hendrix after a lot of the other ones. It was more like it was like my guitar renaissance era, when I was just trying to figure out how did it get to this, like what's the history. And of course Hendrix was a big part of really just creating the modern electric guitar player, because people weren't really playing the guitar like an electric guitar before that. They were just playing it like an acoustic. Of course, the electric guitar was developing at the time and becoming what it is today. So he just took full advantage of guitar amps feeding back and turning the noise into music, like it was a very interesting thing.
Great. And let's talk about some of your album. I think, I see that your first album was Firestorm, August 2019, right?
Yes.
And so tell me about that album.
So Firestorm is a concept album. So if you like The Wall, you might like this album. It is reminiscent of The Wall, but maybe a little bit... it's a little bit different. I'm not going to say that it's necessarily more modern, but it does have maybe a Led Zeppelin, influence, and it does have a Metallica influence at times. It's got a little bit of AC/DC in it, and it's an hour-long album that I wrote when I was 16 years old, and I was writing about sort of going from being a child to being an adult and following your dreams and dealing with mental health, which is a tough part of being a teenager, because you're very emotional and you're dealing with a lot of things, and everything is a big deal to you because oh my god, and maybe things that you would be easier able to handle when you're an adult. So like when you're a teenager, everything is very dramatic and emotional. So I wanted to put that down and make music out of it, and this is what it became. It's every song is kind of different. So it kind of starts off with a guitar solo that is backed up by a cathedral organ, and then it goes into maybe the most pop song on the album, which is called Rockstar. That's the first single, and Rockstar, which also has a music video, which people should check out. It's about wanting to be a rock star, dreaming about being a rock star while you're in school. It's like you're daydreaming at school about being a rock star. So even though the lyrics are "I'm a rock star," it's actually like dreaming about it. Just make that clear.
And you have "I Wanna Know" and then "Go to Hell," right?
Yes. So I just want to make it clear for those of you who might be confused. "Go to Hell" is it's not saying "go to hell!" Exclamation point. It's I'm using hell to talk about. It's mostly to talk about going to school. So I wanted to replace the word hell or the word school with hell. So it was really about me comparing school to being in hell. So it's that's really what it's about. So hopefully that makes more sense.
And what about Attitude? Wow, you have great songs.
Thank you. So Attitude is definitely the heaviest one on the album, and it does have that Metallica influence, but it sort of started out with just me playing guitar, and I just kind of came up with some cool stuff that I liked, and it just kind of turned into this kind of a monster. It's my drummer's favorite song because there's a lot of double kick and like a lot of fun stuff on the drums. So he loves that song. It's how he gets his cardio. The song is really about it's a kind of about dealing with people not accepting you for who you are, and kind of talking about, I kind of like to think of it as like success is the best revenge. That's kind of what I was thinking about when I was writing that song was like, don't listen to people who tell you that you can't do what you want to do with your life, because it's your life and you should be able to do what you want to do.
Mm. And you have also Can You Feel It, and then The Outsider, right?
Yes. Can You Feel It is a song that I wrote. That's probably one of the first songs that I wrote on the album, and I was really writing about apathy and depression. So when I'm talking about Can You Feel It, it's really more about like feeling the feeling of not feeling, if that makes sense, and just dealing with apathy and kind of, so it's saying, where's the smile on your face, and all those things. So it's just it's one of those songs that a lot of people like when they hear the album. They often say that that's their favorite, and some people are comparing it to more of a type of a Pink Floyd song, and it's maybe considered a ballad, but it does end with a big finish. So that's kind of cool.
And I see also you have a great Phil Collins tribute, right? Mama.
Yes. Are you a Genesis fan? Do you like Phil Collins?
Big. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Genesis. Yeah, when he was in Genesis. Yeah, Phil Collins is also good, but I think he changed his music style once he left Genesis to Phil Collins, right?
Right. Yes, that's true. So yeah, I wanted to do something. I wanted to attribute to Phil Collins, but a lot of people do In the Air Tonight, and I decided, I want to do something different. And one of my favorite songs is Mama, because it has a little bit of there are some similarities to In the Air Tonight, but it's got a maybe more. It might be more interesting to me. It's just there's more of a development, maybe more creative ideas for it. They were just kind of messing around in the studio. There's like an early demo on the internet that you can listen to where they're just kind of messing around, and you can see how the song took shape. And it really all started with just a drum machine. So it's incredible what people do when they just let their minds do whatever happens.
Yeah. Also, I would like to check out your website is rockykramer.com, right?
Yes, that is correct.
So Rocky Kramer. So everybody, check out rockykramer.com. I mean, I think he has a great song over there. His album is great. Also, tell me, I don't know if you are able to perform some today or no.
I can't, because I'm using a different setup. I'm using my interview setup. I have a different setup for performances. I use a different audio interface for that. So
you can send me some small video. When I air it, we'll put it in for audio.
Yeah, well, you can probably just use a clip from one of my covers. That'll work.
I'll use that one from the website then. Okay.
Yeah.
So just for people to see your guitar, and I love your guitar is very colorful too. The nice. Did you have to get it handcrafted or what?
Well, I play an endorsed Fender Stratocasters, so I been playing Stratocaster since I was 14, and what I do with them is that they normally come with 3 single coils, which is the way Hendrix played. It's the way Eric Clapton plays it, and David Gilmour and everybody. I wanted to use humbuckers, so that's more of that's more of a Gibson thing, at least early on. And a lot of the Gibson players were into the humbucker, so I wanted to combine the two. And Ace Frehley was one of my big heroes, so I wanted to kind of create the 3 humbucker Stratocaster. So that's kind of something I had to originally I did it myself, but a lot of it is kind of I get a little help from various luthiers and people that are better at electronics than me.
Yeah, that's good. So, what about? Tell me about. Is there a difference? Everybody uses electric guitar now versus other guitar. I mean, did you ever try the other one or just electric?
My first guitar was, which was actually my brother's guitar, was a nylon, and which is more like the Spanish, like a flamenco guitar, and it has its own sound, but it's it might be it's more of a softer sound, and you have a steel string acoustic, which is also pretty interesting. It has a sound of its own. I like using maybe preferably 12 strings because they have a very nice sound. If you want to sound more like Supertramp or well, I guess maybe Pink Floyd at times. That's a great sound. Like on the album, we had a great 12 string that you can hear on I Want to Know. It's on Can You Feel It?
Yeah.
So it's a great sounding instrument, and it does add a nice contrast to the electric guitar, because when you distort a guitar, you basically take away all the dynamics, and so it's just one level. So no matter what you play, it's essentially loud. It's the same level, and it's nice to kind of change between other things. Obviously, you can clean it up, and I like a clean guitar. I like a clean electric guitar too, but which is, I mean, like another brick in the wall. The solo that David Gilmour played was just a clean guitar. I mean, it sounds amazing. It's just a little bit of compression, and then all of a sudden it sounds incredible. So that is obviously a great sound, but I like the distorted sounds that I get. Like if you look behind me, I got the Engel amps, which is I endorse, and that's just it creates that sound that I want. It's a great sound.
Okay. Also, tell us, our audience, what keeps you going? What feeds positivity in your life?
Well, it's been a tough year for everybody. I think it's a tough time, because maybe particularly if you are in the I shouldn't say if you're in the entertainment industry, because I think it's affecting pretty much everybody, or at least most people. There's a lot of unemployment right now. It's tough to be motivated, but I think that, at least as someone that is a musician and that likes to entertain people, I like to think of other ways of doing it. So I've been kind of switching from playing in front of a real audience to playing in front of an audience on Twitch. So like you're sitting at home and you're looking at me from your computer instead of looking at me on the floor in front of a stage. So that's an adjustment, but that does help me feel inspired, because at least I get to perform and I get a little bit of feedback, and people can say what they think of it, instead of just being completely by myself all the time and just not knowing what people might think. So it's nice, and doing the covers help a lot too, because that is a way for me to express myself, and it gives people a chance to hear what I'm doing now, instead of just listening to the same album all the time. So it's good.
Okay. It was a pleasure talking to you and meeting you, knowing your music, especially my favorites, Pink Floyd, Phil Collins, Genesis, and many more. I would love to have basically your concert and hear it. It'd be great. So tell us then, any final thoughts you have for our audience?
Let's see. What can I say? Definitely, if you're interested in, if you like rock and roll, then you can definitely check out my Twitch streams. It's called Rock and Roll Tuesdays. I do it every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. And if you like hearing covers, I've done Pink Floyd, Foo Fighters, Churches, Edwin Collins, and Genesis, and which is Phil Collins, and then hopefully I didn't miss anyone. But and I'm going to keep doing them, because that's something that I enjoy doing right now, and it kind of keeps me busy. And we will shortly be working on the next album, which will be exciting, and we'll talk more about that soon.
Great, and we'll love to actually air your concert too. I mean, I have TV station. We have 130 countries, and a lot of my fan following is actually into music and entertainment. Sure, would love to have your music on our shows. Thank you for coming and giving us opportunity. And take care. Keep check out his website rockykramer.com. Follow him on Twitch and Facebook, where all the medias. Thank you, sir, for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Take care.